Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Hey, Pat Riley, get the flag.
I got it right here, boys. I got it right here. There you go.
There it is, yes. Look at that hair, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
14-2.
Yep. Boss mode.
Is that what we're calling this? The boss mode haircut?
It is. I woke up and my hair was a mess, so it was one of two things. I either put a ball cap on or run my head below the shower head and comb it back. And we picked number 2, which is now called boss mode.
And now, as people are saying in the comment section here, live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, Derek says, don't cut the hair now. It's good luck. Declan's mustache, good luck.
Yep.
Judd with the slick back hair.
This started two weeks ago, because I think that after they had won the game 2 weeks back, you asked me if I was going to cut the hair, and I'm like, I don't know, and you're like, you shouldn't cut the hair. It's good luck, and now and now I've gone boss mode, so it's really good luck.
Cade Pearson says, Judd looks like an NHL bench coach. Judd Travolta. Julian says you look like Judd Travolta.
What era of Travolta? I'd be very curious.
Yeah, probably like a. Probably. Well, I mean, there's been like 3.
Now.
Like 90s?
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely not the young Travolta, but the Travolta now who's playing Santa Claus is a little bit.
I
more
love
frightening.
that commercial.
It's a cute commercial. I'm just saying.
I genuinely giggle every time he's on the dance floor doing his little dance.
With milk?
I think it's hilarious. Yes, with his glass of milk.
Do you know my first thought? My first thought is, I hope he doesn't have lactose problems.
Yeah. Do you think that was part of the contract negotiation?
Because if you had lactose problems and you're in that Santa Claus suit and you're like drinking milk like that, good luck to you. Getting all that off in time.
Well, they do have milk and other things at Quick Trip before we get to our hottest Vikings takes and some glorious Packer vent line here on this live Purple Daily Victory Monday, Judd.
So we are incredibly fortunate in this state to have 2 things. One is the football team off the charts good, right? 2 losses all year. But also not just the greatness of that football team, but the greatness of Quick Trip as well. We are fortunate to have a convenience store that is essentially, as you can see right here, a grocery store. There's the Kruba coffee. Now we're going to walk around the corner at this Quick Trip, and we're going to see pizzas. And those, you know what? Breakfast, dinner. If you need a snack, if you need a meal, heck, if your gas tank is near E, Quick Trip is the place for you. That's why I'm repping them today. I'm popping the hoodie, boys. Quick Trip is the place to stop. We always love to see your stops there, too, at Twitter or on the now Blue Sky machine.
So, Blue Sky reference.
Oh, Blue Sky. Blue Sky is very popular now.
Yeah, I feel like it fizzled a little bit there. People got all excited, and then it kind of.
I feel like there's a lot of people that just want, like, not cesspool stuff that now go to Blue Sky. But yes, yeah, X will always be, or Twitter.
It's also hard, like on mobile, to like double post.
Like,
it's easier on the web version, in my opinion. I have a tough time doing the double post on the mobile side.
Well, and you can get an app that does that, right, Phil?
Yeah. Do you guys want to go down the path of social media posting mechanics
on
here?
Blue Sky? I'm just curious.
Buffer is a great app to post to multiple different platforms. There's a free version of it if you want.
Buffer, okay. But anyway, yes, Quick Trip. That was what we were talking about. And now we're going to talk about our hottest takes.
Why don't you start us off here with your hottest Vikings take, Judd? Kick us off.
My hottest take is this. Right now, and I'm going to say this as a declarative statement, Kevin O'Connell is the best coach in the National Football League. Kevin O'Connell is the best coach in the National Football League.
Wow.
And here's why. So I found a list from July. CBS Sports ranked every coach, 1 through 32. Few of them have been fired by now. Here were your top 5. And they're all very good. Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, John Harbaugh, Matt LaFleur. Now, in the case of Shanahan and LaFleur, they do not have Super Bowls. Andy Reid does. But hear me out here. When you look at the job that Kevin O'Connell has done to get this team to 14-2, and I mean, he now has 3 years of work, 2 of which are outstanding when it comes to wins. Not playoff wins, but, a great start. and then a rough second season. But he also lost his quarterback. That team was ascending, and then it didn't turn into a colossal cluster bleep. But when you look at the job that he's done as a young head coach, and a guy, Reed is fantastic, okay? But remember, and this is not trying to throw shade at Reed, but remember, he had success in Philadelphia up to a point, but McNabb couldn't get him over the hump. Alex Smith did a nice job, but it's the combination of the fact that Reed and the Chiefs personnel department hit on a generational, maybe the best QB maybe of all time. Patrick Mahomes is in that conversation. Kevin O'Connell has done this 14 wins with Sam Darnold, who, quite frankly, the majority laughed at. He was a punchline. Sean McVay is too. All right? But Kevin O'Connell is trying to do something that his mentor could not do. Remember, Jared Goff took the Rams to a Super Bowl, and the Rams were like, we're good here. We're going to go out and get a quarterback who we trust more. Kevin O'Connell is on the verge of leading his team to the number 1 seed in the NFC with a quarterback who, remember, we all laughed at. Kyle Shanahan is 3. Kyle Shanahan is really good. No question about that. Brock Purdy, that's a great story. But I want to go to last night, and VEN, who we've sort of mocked before times because they're a homer, and they're supposed to be, to paint a positive Vikings picture.
So that's the Vikings Entertainment Network, for those who are maybe not.
Yes. Vikings Entertainment Network, though, did a marvelous job last night, and kudos. Not for catching the Sam Darnold comes into the locker room and gets celebrated and water poured on him and lifted onto the shoulders of his teammates, but somebody hung back and just focused on O'Connell with this knowing grin of joy of just taking it in. Having the moment, having the ability as a coach to observe that moment and appreciate it is, I believe, very rare. Most coaches don't. I mean, hell, we've heard the top guys. Nick Saban, Alabama won a national championship about 5 years back, and Nick Saban in the postgame on the field said, got to start recruiting. Kevin O'Connell drank that in. John Harbaugh, very good. Matt LaFleur was 5th. I think right now, you guys, I think Kevin O'Connell, and this is saying this about a young man too. So like this is not, well, he's reached his zenith and that was fun. I think Kevin O'Connell is the best coach in the National Football League right now. He has his flaws, but when you look at the overall body of work, ability to appreciate things, ability to build a culture, and that's not a cliche here. That's he's done that. Ability to get a quarterback who nobody believed in to play like an MVP. Ability to game plan offensively, no matter what happened in the game yesterday. Matt LaFleur is a really good play caller. Kevin O'Connell beat him at that game. Kevin O'Connell is the best coach in the league right now.
Wow. I would have to stop one shy of Andy Reid. So I'll give you all the other coaches except Andy Reid, because if the question were phrased, you get to pick from any of the 32 coaches for one game or for 1 week of preparation or for 1 month of playoffs, I would take Andy Reid. But I don't know that they're based on what he's done, dude. You mentioned the Sam Darnold record. I mean, even if you throw in some of the journeyman backups, he's 17-8 with non-Kirk Cousins quarterbacks. And you look at some of the great head coaches of all time. I mean, Bill Belichick, number 1 on this list of, if you take away the elite Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, and now it's on you to make it happen with something less than that or a talent that was deemed a bust. Not a lot of guys can do it. Not a lot of guys can play, 9 games above 500 with journeymen and projects as starting quarterbacks too. Mm-hmm. So he is, I think we're watching the start of a long era of Kevin O'Connell here. I mean, Bud Grant held it down for the better part of 2 decades. It feels like we're watching something very long-term and very sustainable here, much like what Andy Reid has built with his 25 years as one of the best coaches in the history of the NFL.
Yep. No, his overall belief in this team and his ability to convince them. And don't forget, too, I will always go back to this season. As far as I'm concerned, O'Connell's coaching started in early July when Kyrie Jackson dies, because that's a pivotal point.
Yeah.
Like your job is at the beginning of training camp to convince a group of young men who never give death a thought to disassociate from the world because football is king. And you have a teammate die. So basically, in the face of all of these young guys who never think about death, you're faced with the reality of telling them it's all going to be okay and we still have to focus. I mean, we have seen that go sideways how many times? This is one of the first times I've ever seen the beginning of a season that had this foreboding of this ain't good. And now, January 1, 2025, just about here, and you've lost 2 games.
Yeah. So, wow, okay. Judge is bringing a fastball.
It's because I'm the boss. That's the
The
boss.
start here. Pat Riley, circa 1995 with the New York Knicks, or is it Pat Riley like 87?
No,
Lakers,
it's 90. I think it's 95.
It's the Knicks. Okay.
Yeah, and we are dirty too. Like we are fouling guys. We are doing whatever.
That kind of dirty. Like
Yeah.
you've showered, but your play is dirty.
Oh, actually, I'm not showered yet. No, that's why I've got the hair like this. No,
Okay.
I'm also probably not.
There's no time to shower when you're crafting your hottest Vikings takes on a Monday morning here.
Exactly right.
Okay, I'll jump in because I also have the pie chart coming up, and then Dex can clean up for us. I've got two hottest takes just sitting right here in the hopper. I think I'm going to save one. One is kind of a scenario or a hypothetical that I've turned into a hot take, and I'll either save that for later in this show or for maybe tomorrow's show. I'm going to go with this one. If the Vikings win next week, they're going to the Super Bowl. If they beat the Lions in Week 18 and they take the division, the number 1 seed, a bye, and home games throughout January, they're going to the Super Bowl. And before I explain myself, let's grab the flag, because that's how close they are. As one of our vent liners did the easy math, right? Like,
3 wins.
They're 3 wins away from playing in the Super Bowl right now, which is kind of crazy to think about based on where everyone thought this team was maybe 6 months ago or 9 months ago. But if you beat the Lions on Sunday Night Football, officially, for
Where it
those that
belongs.
didn't see that late last night.
Absolutely.
That's what we're going to get. Collinsworth sliding into
Oh, it's going to be,
Ford
great
Field.
test. Great test.
But you get the X, because you had a pretty early bye. I mean, you had like an late October bye, whatever it was. And so you've been grinding all throughout November and December, early January, tough games down the stretch. If you win, you get to take a deep breath, rest up, bye a week. It's a great time to just take a step back. You get the extra week to prepare too, and because you're going to be kind of scouting the different teams that you're going to do a lot of legwork in the week leading up. Home games throughout in a stadium that has produced, based on the broadcast yesterday, the most pre-snap penalties for visiting teams in the NFL. Procedural stuff, false starts. You don't have to go to Philly. You don't have to go to Detroit again. And maybe that's less daunting if you take it from them in Week 18. Like, you're probably less likely to fear going there in the NFC Championship game. But if you look at the last small handful of times this team went to the NFC Championship game, they were playing on the road. 2017, all right, here we go. Best defense in the league, got weapons on offense, walking into Philadelphia, and that atmosphere was just too much to overcome. Once they get the momentum, it just becomes a snowball for 3 hours, and they couldn't overcome it. 2009, you were, a win away in the regular season from home field advantage. Instead, you have to go to New Orleans, and I don't know if the crowd, but like, when the Saints defense gets going and they're taking cheap shots and the crowd's getting into it, it just, like, again, it's a snowball that becomes really hard to overcome. Do the officials maybe throw a flag in a situation on a Ben Lieber late in the game because they're caught up in it? Like,
does it get there?
Does it even get
or
to that
do you
point?
attempt the field goal at home? Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Communication,
and they had their chance too. Like, don't blow the game in OT in Chicago, and I believe you get home field, correct?
Yes, in the regular.
So, like,
if you win the regular season game. Yep.
So yeah, your point stands.
but just like little margins, right? You're trying to communicate with each other on the sidelines during a timeout. You put a 12th man in the huddle. Does that happen at home? Probably not. Mm-hmm. And then the 2000 NFC Championship game, which is kind of forgotten about, the 41 donut game. I mean, hell, there's like allegations that the Giants were fudging the headsets and stuff. So the Vikings have not played a home conference championship game since 1998. And we all know what happened in that game. But to have the crowd on your side and to be able to get an extra half a step on defense, just everything that goes with it. Mm-hmm. I think that is what is at stake on Sunday night. If you beat the Lions at Ford Field, I think the Vikings are going to their first Super Bowl in almost 50 years. You
can't say that without this. January 9th, 1977, correct? I looked it up last night.
Yeah.
1977. Declan, you weren't born till 90 what? 92, yeah. Just for some context. And quite frankly, you're getting old.
I am.
So, like, that's the incredible thing. So, it feels different. I got to admit, feels different. That game yesterday gets blown by many Vikings teams, good ones included, of the past.
Yeah, and even if you, like, I think, was it Dex that brought this up yesterday, or somebody put out the screenshot of the win probability in both Vikings-Packers games? The scoreboard looks like it's a close game, but the Vikings had like 95% win probability throughout the duration of the second half in both these games until like, okay, the Packers got a little too close. Right. Time to shut her down. They never had the ball with a chance to win. I don't know. Best garbage time team in the NFL. Congratulations to the Packers. Hang the banner. But yeah, I think that's what's at stake on Sunday against the Lions.
I love it. I think you're probably right. I think you're probably because this does feel different, like this team does as well. The sinking feeling that the things that go wrong are going to cost you, and this is probably dangerous on my part, do not feel as sinking as they once did. I still don't enjoy them. Don't get me wrong. Will Reichert make your field goals? But yeah, it feels like a very different mentality here.
Tyler Anderson says, "Don't say that, Phil. We haven't played the Eagles yet." Right, but there's a big difference between playing the Eagles at US Bank Stadium and playing the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, yes.
Lincoln Financial or whatever.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the hot take.
Big difference. Big difference. Yeah, if they have to start as the 5 seed and then play a road game right away after an emotional game against the Lions, I think there's a chance you get bounced in the first round because of how do you get back up after
and you're on the road.
Packers and Lions, and you're on the road playing the Rams or the Buccaneers or somebody. Like there's a lot at stake on Sunday.
Going on the road in the playoffs changes potentially everything.
And playing the extra game.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like we kind of talked about the math. Judd disagreed with the Athletics math on Super Bowl percentage. Well, it's predicated largely on you avoid a coin flip.
Yeah.
In the first round, you don't have to play. You don't have to walk through a 3-hour booby trap in Tampa. If you win this game on Sunday.
I just hope that next Sunday the Eagles do the right thing and allow Saquon Barkley to pursue the Dickerson record with all the vigor necessarily. Health be damned.
And I hope Dan Campbell allows his Lions starters to get the revenge that they deserve against the 49ers.
This is why Dan Campbell and Kevin O'Connell aren't in the same ballpark, in my opinion.
Man, if he plays starters... All right, Dex, what's your hottest Vikings take?
All right, here's my hottest take. I kind of teased this a little bit on VetLine yesterday when I asked about Jordan Love v. Sam Darnold. I'm going to take that a step further. I had this written down about halfway through the third quarter. Here's my hottest take. Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the NFC, and there's not a better player at his position who can lead them to a Super Bowl in this conference. So if you gave me a clean sheet and said you could have Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, or Sam Darnold, I'm taking Sam Darnold. Give me a clean sheet with Kevin O'Connell. I'll take Sam Darnold every time. 35 touchdowns, 4,100 yards, 8.2 yards per attempt. Passer rating north of 100. This dude is literally balling out for the Vikings. And when you watch him, he stays calm in the pocket. When things started off against the Packers, those first 2 series, and they're blitzing like hell, and there's pressure in Sam's face, I thought, oh boy, this might be a long day, might be an Aaron Jones game. Like, man, this could get rough. Didn't matter. Sam Darnold, this is from Next Gen Stats. His 31-yard pass to Jalen Naylor, the touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone. That was his 9th deep touchdown pass of the season, which is tied for the most in the NFL. And he currently leads the NFL in completions, passing yards, and EPA on deep passes this season.
It's crazy.
They hunt down the field for the big-time plays for sure. So, like, they are definitely attempting them a lot. But regardless, Sam Darnold is converting them. I mean, he lost his left tackle. Lost Christian Darrisaw. Might have been the most important piece, is the most important piece on the offensive line for sure. One of the most important pieces to the offense. Didn't matter. He has Garrett Bradbury as a center. He's one of the worst pass-blocking centers in the NFL. Doesn't matter. He delivers darts with pressure in the face all day long. And I've seen enough of the other quarterbacks that the Vikings have played this year to safely say Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the NFC.
I love this take. I think you're right. Like, it's a hot take, but if you actually go through the list and the way he's playing right now, it's not even like that scorchingly hot. The debate would be Matthew Stafford, maybe a healthy Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts, not a very accurate passer. Like, a lot of the production they have it's the ground game that sort of opens up things for the passing game. I mean, they're asking Sam Darnold, sometimes to the point where you're like, whoa, can we just get like a safe play call here at the end of the last 5 minutes yesterday?
Yeah.
They're asking him to do more than almost any quarterback in the NFL. And another thing, too, that's pretty obvious, and maybe we can compare some of these stats here on a future episode. The system hasn't changed, really. Like, it's Kevin O'Connell's system, and yet Darnold is taking many more chances down the field than his predecessor did. Which was always you're kind of wondering, like, were these checkdowns like built in? And then you got Tom Brady on the broadcast yesterday saying, Sam should take a checkdown once in a while. It might actually help him prevent some of these sacks.
So this is a hot take, and Dex referred to this towards the end. That probably requires the context of who do I get as the guy's coach. Like, if you give me one game, all the marbles, O'Connell and Stafford, I'm probably going Stafford.
Because we kind of know what that looks like.
Because we kind of know, yeah. Like, Hurts, I don't know. I don't know. Like, could O'Connell work with Hurts 100%? Is that the quarterback he wants? But the reality is this. Sam Darnold is as polar opposite of Kirk Cousins as one can get, right? Like, this hunting down the field, Phil, as you just said, is not a new idea. This is what O'Connell wanted, and Kirk checked it down because he didn't trust it. The YOLO pass to Jefferson in Buffalo, which results in one of the greatest catches in Vikings history, was the anomaly for Kirk. But this is what O'Connell wants. Now, you can debate that too. But the fact is that Sam can make all of the throws that Kevin wants. And the fact that Sam doesn't have a conscience, which is unbelievable. I know, but he threw that pick. I think the next series, not only do they come back and score, I think he was 5 for 5. So he just comes back. He's like, okay, cool. But yes, and this goes back to my hot take. The marriage between a quarterback who was previously laughed at and Kevin O'Connell, to me, is one of the great stories of the NFL season. So Darnold's fantastic. There's no doubt.
We will do a state of the offense episode for tomorrow where we're just going to have kind of a deep dive Sam Darnold discussion. But I'll give you one of the state of Sam Darnold statistics right now.
Preview.
So he's 5th in passer rating. He's like, I think if you average all the categories that we've been tracking all season, he's like 6th or 7th aggregate among all quarterbacks. But he's 5th in passer rating. And among the top 5 passer rating quarterbacks, you've got perennial MVP candidate Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow is having a ridiculous season. The other 3 guys are a lesson to NFL fans and media and front offices. Jared Goff, 2nd. Baker Mayfield, 4th. Sam Darnold, 5th. All of those guys were top 3 draft picks, right? You had 2 of those guys were number 1 overall picks that were jettisoned from their drafting franchise.
Yep.
Darnold was a number 3 overall pick, jettisoned from the Jets, no pun intended. And they all wind up Goff didn't bounce around. He was kind of thrown in as a salary equalizer. And the Lions like, yeah, we'll take Jared Goff while we figure out our future. Well, you get him in with some weapons, an offensive line, a culture-changing head coach, and a mastermind offensive coordinator. Okay, maybe he's not Patrick Mahomes, but when you give him a car, he drives the hell out of it everywhere he's been. And Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, very similar, kind of gunslinging, hunting down the field, don't really care about interceptions type quarterbacks. And to just watch what happens when competent organizations and infrastructures take hold of these guys.
Yep.
How do you feel if you're the Jets and you're looking at this right now, or you're the Panthers and you're looking at this right now? The Panthers had both Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold in their building. Now they're kind of turning it around a little bit, and they might be onto something, but infrastructure, and it's part of the reason why this discussion about Darnold's future is so difficult now. It's a great problem to have, but it's like a fork in the road decision for a franchise here going forward. Self-created because the Vikings have become so well run.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're the Jets or Panthers, like you have to know deep down that you didn't have even an iota of the infrastructure necessary. So it was a lost cause. Like O'Connell has not only built up and helped Darnold maximize his potential, but it started with a spring and summer of rebuilding his confidence. Like he took a guy who was shot confidence-wise. I don't know that Baker, and I just don't know this, I don't know that Baker from my outside observation was shot, because he's sort of a cocky guy. And I think once Baker got into a system, he got some confidence back quickly. I perceive Darnold to have had his confidence built up for months, and then it takes off, and then O'Connell uses him in ways that he knows he's going to be successful, and then more and more he takes the chains off, and it's full go. So, like the Jets and the Panthers, they never had a chance. This is a poster child situation for why, unless you've got the right people, it might not matter who you draft.
And you probably should just not. If you're
that's the thing. That's a stupid statement, but it's true.
If you're trying to draft a quarterback to save your franchise, all you're going to do is chew up and ruin that quarterback more often than not.
You're either going to draft the wrong one or you're going to draft the right one and screw him up. Because Mitch Trubisky, was he good? I don't know about that. But the Bears flat out might have just drafted the wrong guy. Patrick Mahomes was in that draft, right? But then there is the conversation. Does a guy like Mahomes, who's got a ton of confidence but had a year to watch, does he step into Chicago and do this? I don't know.
Well, what's more likely? That the Bears completely identified the wrong quarterback 3 times in a row with Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, and Caleb Williams, or that they have botched all of the infrastructure around those guys? Just like like if you were to flip,
yes.
All right, hey, KOC, you're going to get Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, and Caleb Williams over like an 8-year stretch. Those quarterbacks would be a lot better than they turned out to be. And if you give Sam Darnold to the Bears this last season,
it doesn't work.
You think he's throwing for 30 touchdowns and 4,000 yards? Like, zero chance. No. He's out of the league.
Caleb he's got a lot of faults, but Caleb is this is that story playing out again. Like, unless they get the right guy there, and by the way, I think he's good. Like, he's got some faults, but I do think he's good. We've seen enough. There's something there. Like Trubisky, I just don't know. But anyway, if they allow, if the Chicago Bears don't hire an offensive guy and get this right, they are going to ruin another QB. And I think in this case, it's on them. Totally on them.
You guys want to hear what Packer media is saying after yesterday's devastating loss? Let's get to some Packer vent line here in just a moment after we shout out Underdog. Underdog's a great place to have some fun while watching football, Dex, huh?
Yeah, I was hanging out with some buddies over the weekend, and they were talking about how, their fantasy football season came to an end. It's all over, and it's just too bad. It's like, I mean, you guys can still play fantasy football at Underdog. And in fact, you can do the playoffs at Underdog. You can still draft a team, compete against your friends, compete against strangers, make your own team each week at Underdog, whether it's this final week of the season or on Super Wildcard Weekend. There's plenty of great options still at Underdog. Promo code SCORE still gets you that 50% deposit match. And for those current users, You'll have your notifications on. You'll get some tokens. You'll get some boosts. You'll get plenty of great things to keep you playing. And make you win a little extra cash at Underdog. Promo code SCORE for a 50% deposit match.
Also, a Black Stack Brewing, which you can find inside U.S. Bank Stadium, assuming there might be another home game. If they win on Sunday, there'll definitely be another home game. But you can also find Black Stack beer all over the state of Minnesota and expanded distribution into Wisconsin, Nebraska, and South Dakota. BlackStackBrewing.com, the where to buy page, where you can find your favorite Black Stack beers. They also have the second largest tap room in the state of Minnesota. Just an awesome place to bring a group of friends. Maybe it's a gathering of some kind, family, beers, more than you can ever find in distribution, but also hard seltzer cocktails, boozy slushies, a 190-inch big screen TV, hundreds of board games, and also food trucks and pop-ups every day. BlackStackBrewing.com. We appreciate their partnership here on Purple Daily. And Judd, how about Stoked? Tell the audience about Stoked.
Absolutely. You know why? Because as Dex knows, for the true grill masters, there's no time off. You don't take the winter off. You know what you do? You still grill. And that's why our friends at Stoked Barbecue Pellets are there to help you out. Stoked, a locally based company, is a premium pellet that cooks anything that you throw on the grill or smoker to delicious perfection. You can find Stoked at all 22 Fratelloni's hardware and garden stores. Perfect for pellet grills, pellet smokers, and much more. We're talking about 50-count fire starter buckets, Stoked barbecue pellets, 4-count fire starter bags, and the barbecue caddy. Again, available at all 22 Fratelloni's hardware and garden stores, or check them out at their website, stokedbbq.com. Don't go with the big guys, go with Stoked, and keep grilling year-round.
Okay. So a mixed bag here of Packer Vent Line. I will say the general tone across all the different shows and YouTube channels that I was scouring early this morning is largely giving the Vikings props. You know, I feel like a lot of these guys have been dunking on the Vikings, their point differential, all these close games, lucky, this, that, the other. So let's start ESPN Milwaukee here. Former Packers offensive lineman Mark Tauscher had a lot to say.
And what I said was I've poo-pooed them all season.
Okay.
I can't poo-poo them anymore. At some point, you're just being, you're being an idiot. And when you continue to see what they're doing, they beat us twice. They've won 14 games now.
Yeah.
They're better than the Green Bay Packers.
They got a better defensive
right
coordinator.
That doesn't mean what it means is they have done it throughout the regular season. So tonight I tip my cap to the Minnesota Vikings. I'll be eating crow. I don't know if I can do it tomorrow, but I will be eating crow because I said that the Minnesota Vikings were not a better football team than the Green Bay Packers, and I have to change that tune. They, in the regular season, are a better football team than the Green Bay Packers.
Still holding out some hope that.
Yep.
Okay, you got us in the regular season. We'll see what happens in January.
I think yesterday, though, I agree with Tausch on this. I do think that yesterday, at least in my mind, went a long way towards solidifying what he just said. Because, the Packers are a good team. That's the thing about these two wins. Yes, they were closer than they probably ultimately should have been, but the Packers are a good team. Like, they've got a good coach. They've got a good QB. They've got a defense that's much improved. And so yesterday sort of like crystallized it of, there's no question. The 2024 Vikings are a better team.
In the regular season.
Yeah, Tausch.
Well,
I watched some of that yesterday, too, and Tausch was talking about the 2004 year, which was obviously the Moss Mooning at Lambeau playoff win, when the Packers beat the Vikings both times in the regular season, and then they came into their Lambeau and basically kicked their ass for that entire wild card game. So he was kind of using that point against them, too.
It could happen. It could happen. Could definitely happen. But all right, let's hear from our guys. It's Peter from Locked On Packers here. Let's see how he's handling things yesterday.
We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you, but much more than the Green Bay Packers like starting a big game. Because this team has come up small this year, time and time again. And yes, if the Vikings don't get gifted 3 points in this game on a nonsense call, maybe things go differently at some point. But that's a lot of ifs and buts. And if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I hope everyone did have a Merry Christmas.
That's nice.
That's an old school cliche.
Did you have a Merry Christmas there, Judd?
Oh, God, it was great. Are you kidding? Knicks game? Two
Did you have your
games?
Pat Riley slick back
Two
hair while
football
watching
games?
the Knicks
No,
on
I
Christmas?
did not. No, I didn't. A big Wolves win.
Dude, all the Wolves do is pull out these big, from Christmas all the way, a big winning streak here. They just swept through the entire state of Texas in the last week, and everyone's still mad about the trade.
I just love the fact now that Christmas Day is just filled with quality sports options.
It's pretty great. Okay, let's check in on Cheeshead TV here. I'm going to play back to back. We'll do kind of a part 1 and part 2 as Aaron Nagler was doing his watch along here. So we'll kind of ride the roller coaster with old Nags.
Darnold takes a snap, 4-man rush from the Packers, constricting the pocket. Picked off by Carrington Valentine, who kicks it up the right side. He's got pitches in the end zone. He cuts it back. Now he fumbles, and the Packers get on it. Packers ball. There's the play we've been waiting for, baby. Carl Brooks on the recovery. What's up, Sam Darnold? You are still Sam Darnold.
It's not the same without Corey, I will say. Like Corey, like both him and Corey do a great job on those watch-alongs, and I saw that live. I had Cheeshead TV live.
Oh wow!
During that
I love
part.
it. So he's super excited. He's
super
riding
jacked.
the roller coaster. Here we go. Got the ball back.
A lot of ball game left, as he says. A lot of ball game.
There was.
Tons of ball game left.
There was
Okay,
a lot of
let's
ball game left.
let's fast forward toward the end of the game here. Game's on the line.
3rd and 2, 1:49 remaining in the game. Play of the game right here. Let's see what we got. Come on now. Send a man in motion. Too easy. First down. Game over. Same action they ran at the start of the drive. Play action, leak out into the flat with the running back. Easy. That's a frustrating one. No doubt about it. Vikings are going to win it. Packers' furious comeback falls short yet again.
He was like Tom Hanks in League of Their Own, trying not to
Hold on a second.
pop off and freak out.
Yeah, but hold on a second here. That last play, yes, the action itself was simple, but that play itself was way more, like, that was close. Like, that ball was not easily caught. Cam Akers made a hell of a play. I would have been like, oh my God, he did catch. Because, like, for a second there, I thought, he ain't catching this.
He did say if we stuck with it longer, that like Darnold made it way harder than it needed to be with a kind of a bad short throw, and Cam Akers kind of stumbled.
That ball was just like floating through the air. It's like
I think what was most devastating maybe for Packers fans though was just trying to look at the roster and figure out who are these players that are daggering us. We know Justin Jefferson, but who are some of these other guys?
And tonight is an example of why having that dog is so critical. Justin Jefferson draws coverage. He allowed, what's his name? I don't even know the guy's name. Naylor.
That's it.
Naylor.
Their 3 receivers are better than all the Packer receivers, right?
Tom Brady, who I know people are panning as an analyst, he said at the end of that game, when you get to be where you need it, it isn't about drawing up all these plays. It's about what do our best guys do best. That's what we're going to do. And what did they do? They got JJ on a crossing route over and said, we're going to have our best beat your guy. And then you get to a 3rd and 2 and you run that little bootleg, which is something. And
well, but no, wait. This is where I get mad at play-by-play guys. Hey, Tom, you said they're going to go to these guys, which may be right. Ham caught the first catch for 13 yards. Ham, you didn't even know he's on the team. The last guy who catches the catch is Akers. Fullback. He's a backup running back. They didn't go to their stars. Jefferson caught one pass. 2 of the 3, and the 2 most important were the guys no one's ever heard of.
I love Homer.
CJ Ham disrespect.
I love Homer. Homer's great. He just flips out.
But I love Tausch coming. He's like, I knew who CJ Ham was. Okay, he's their fullback. Let's calm down, Homer.
Well,
Sailor, Layler,
yeah.
Baylor.
The best part is this: if Jalen Naylor can catch the ball, he's unstoppable because he's not covered. Like the Packers, literally, their game plan was, we ain't covering him. Screw it.
Because he's got one of the highest drop rates in the league.
I know.
They're like, well, if this guy catches 5 passes for 80 yards and touchdown.
And how many coaches, how many play callers and quarterbacks are like, yeah, he's dropping a lot of passes this year. Do we really trust it? And yet the touchdown catch, the 31-yard touchdown catch, I'm telling you, if you go back and watch it, there are options. There are options. And Darnold slings the ball to the guy that drops passes. Not every quarterback makes that throw. No way.
But that's part of the beauty of Kevin O'Connell is.
Yes.
Because I know it feels good. You know, angry fans and media. What was it? One of these shows, was it the Bears vent line a couple weeks ago? Let's cut his ass to send a message. We're going to fire a coach and cut a backup lineman to send a message. Well, there's not just like awesome players and coaches sitting on their couches. So while it may feel good if somebody makes a mistake, Aaron Jones, he should never touch the ball again the rest of the season. Okay, well, maybe that makes you feel good in the moment because you're mad. But when you're trying to keep a 53-man roster focused and pushing in the right direction, the best thing you can do is what Kevin O'Connell does, which is, hey, man, we hang on to the football around here, but I'm coming back to you. Jalen Naylor, hey, buddy, like, you got to pull your head out of your keister, but I'm going to put you out there, and you're going to be in a spot to make a play. So I'm not going to lose faith in you. Did you lose faith in yourself? That's the way he coaches guys up. And they come back around after a month and make huge plays.
Absolutely. And then Jalen gets a game ball, at which O'Connell basically says, you know, this guy had a great start, which is code for he dropped some passes after his great start. You know, This guy had a great start, but today he stepped up. Like this is the thing of building guys up, which you can laugh at, but it's incredibly important.
Yep. So there's a little Packer vent line for you where we scour Packers media.
Tao Show, no!
Sad
you
Packer
didn't know who he was.
All right, I have a pie chart of praise for you guys.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
That we can kind of rapidly go through here. And it involves 7 slices. 7 slices of pie.
Oh, nice.
Now, I heard that you landed the math plane quite marvelously with like 9 slices last week.
I did, in some very odd and
There's like a 12 in there.
Yeah, no, an 11.
Was a 2.
Was it a 9er?
Yeah.
2 2s and an 11.
Wow.
Like I was Harvard math guy. Yeah,
it's like a Jaguars Titans game or something.
Yeah, it was not. It's not incorrect.
So, well, you can see if I land this math plane
The Rock knows
or not.
how you feel about pie.
We'll start with 5% to the interior offensive line. Blake Brandel, Garrett Bradbury, and Dalton Reisner. They weren't perfect. I think Brandel gave up a sack, but largely those 3 guys were really, really good at limiting pressure, allowing Sam Darnold to sit in the pocket all day on a lot of those throws and hunt down the field. So for as much as we complained about the interior offensive line, and I still think long-term, you got to upgrade at least a couple of those spots ASAP, those guys did a really good job giving Sam Darnold relatively clean pockets and room to step up and hunt down the field. So 5% to the trio of Brandel, Bradbury, and Reisner.
Fair enough.
Okay. Let's go 5%.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
To the New York Jets and Carolina Panthers for helping to lower Sam Darnold's value so much that the Vikings could bring him in on a 1-year, $10 million contract. I just want to thank those 2 absolutely incompetent organizations.
Just a drive-by troll right there.
Well, I mean, if those franchises had done what they should, you never have access to a top 3 overall pick with crazy arm talent and athletic ability who's coming into his own like a Josh Allen right now in front of our eyes.
Still a troll. I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just a troll.
So Jets and Panthers.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
5% to Jonathan Grenard. Just a bunch of pressures. He had at least, I think it was 3 quarterback hits yesterday. I don't know that he was credited with a sack.
He was not.
But he was kind of all over the place.
He
and
talked
moving.
about it. He basically said that he said he had opportunities to get sacks, but because of how the defensive game plan was, the most important thing was to contain Love.
Yeah.
And not allow him to get out and scramble. So they actually purposely pulled back on him rushing to not to be a spy, but to make sure that the edge didn't get compromised.
Wow. Because if you compromise the edge.
If you compromise the edge,
all
you're
healthy
dead.
regular. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly right.
Can't have that.
Scrambling quarterback compromises the edge. Ooh, boy, you're in trouble.
So just want to give some credit to a guy that maybe he didn't tally a sack, but we saw you out there, Jonathan Grenard, doing a good job.
I like it.
Okay, 10%
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
to Byron Murphy Jr., who, according to Pro Football Focus, and maybe I didn't grab the updated numbers because this seems like it might be off, but he was targeted 6 times, only 2 catches allowed for 26 yards.
Sounds right.
There might have been a garbage time thing in there late, but there was kind of a bogus pass interference call that I hated. But Byron Murphy Jr. has been awesome for the Vikings this year, and he is still, despite the Vikings signing him to a free agent contract, usually with cornerbacks after their first free agent contract, then they kind of age out. He's still in his prime because he was one of the youngest free agents. He was like a 24-year-old free agent because he was only 20 when he was drafted by the Cardinals. So Byron Murphy Jr. has been largely awesome. He's breaking up passes, and you can play him in the slot. You can play him outside. I think they're going to bring him back, but 10% to Byron Murphy Jr.
He's going to get paid for sure. He's gone from being a solid player who I thought was a little bit disappointing in 2023 to being probably one of their most important players.
Agreed. Yep. And they can't just let 3 starting cornerbacks walk out the door. I think you probably keep Byron Murphy, Mekhi Blackman comes back.
Yep.
Maybe you add one guy in free agency or
The Rock
first round pick.
knows how you feel about pie.
Okay. Final 3 slices. 20% to Blake Cashman. He led the team in tackles. He had a sack and a half, as was credited, a handful of pressures as a pass rusher. The Vikings are undefeated in games that Blake Cashman plays in. And then when Ivan Pace is in the mix too, this defense is one of the 2 or 3 best in the entire league when they're fully healthy like they've been. So Blake Cashman, 20% for just being everywhere in that game yesterday and helping to hold the Packers mostly off the board until furious rally garbage time.
This defense has an entirely different look when both Cashman and Pace play. I don't recall a linebacker duo in Vikings history that because I do recall some really good linebackers, but a duo that is this big of difference. Their defense looks different. And yeah, the Cashman thing, to me, one of the most phenomenal stories, because they signed him. I said, okay, that's not bad. Heard a lot with the Jets, developed with Houston. Nice fit, right? I mean, my God.
Well, remember 2 years ago with Donatel, a lot of talk about the scheme, and it was also just a slow-footed defense, it felt like. And now you replace a Jordan Hicks. There's a couple veterans, even Patrick Peterson was not the same. He was not a guy that was going to keep up one-on-one. And it just feels like they've gotten younger and faster all across the board. You got a Dallas Turner in there now who's flashing 3 weeks in a row. Ivan Pace, Cashman, they're just Metellus with a highlighter goal the last couple of years. And they constantly
adjust too, though. The thing is, the Donatel Fangio scheme worked if you had the correct personnel, but that personnel had no ability to change its face, to change its. They talked about that. There's a good piece in the Star Tribune today from the locker room about the defensive players saying that at halftime they basically adjusted their looks to reverse them because they knew exactly what LaFleur would come back and do to adjust from what he had seen in the first 2 quarters. Think about that for a second. And then think about the intelligence. Josh Metellus, Harrison Smith, Cashman, go down Grenard, Van Ginkel. Go down the list of the football IQs that it takes to make those adjustments, some of which, by the way, come from the players.
The gangster. Did Tom Brady refer to him as Van Winkle at one point yesterday?
Jimmy Johnson did in the pregame.
Jimmy Johnson, okay.
I love Declan. You're torturing Declan by making him talk. Why were you watching the Fox pregame? Why do you do that to yourself anymore?
I only watched like it was literally so I always watch ESPN, but also it was a 3:25 game. So I mean, there's basically just like a 10-minute buildup between the noon game and the 3:25 game. So like I'm not gonna not switch it off for that. But if it's a noon game, I usually watch ESPN Countdown like up until like right before noon.
Sure.
So I had no choice basically but to watch those four old farts try to fumble their way through the whole
figure out
show.
Poor Bradshaw.
2 more slices for you guys here. This pie chart of praise.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
We're going 25% to the Vikings' top 3 wide receivers, 3 deep. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Jalen Naylor joining that party for, I think it was like the 4th or 5th big game he's had this year. They torched the Packers secondary all day long. And if you add up the numbers, it was like those 3 guys alone had, I think it was 19 catches for like 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a bunch of first downs and chunk plays and third down conversions. And then on top of that, Hawkinson goes for 5 catches, 68 yards, and Aaron Jones and Cam Akers combined for 6 catches. Actually, if you throw CJ Ham, the check down brigade here, 8 catches for 60 yards, a touchdown, a couple big first downs. But those 3 wide receivers, 19 catches, 260, a couple of touchdowns. Big day for them torching the Packers.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
And then the final slice, 30% to Slingin' Sammy, Darnold Schwarzenegger, a man whose value has now risen to at least $50 million average annual value. The fastest rising sports stock in America, Sam Darnold, a career high 377 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, a killer drive after the interception gave the Packers new life. Just immediately came back. 6-play drive, bang, bang, darts all over the place. Mm-hmm. The post-game video locker room that Judd alluded to earlier in the show, he runs in the locker room. They douse him with water. They put him up on their shoulders. They love Sam Darnold. He's got the soda hat on at the press conference. I mean, he's all in on Minnesota. So 30% to Sam Darnold, 25% to the Vikings' top 3 wide receivers, 20% Blake Cashman, 10% Byron Murphy Jr., 5% Jonathan Grenard, 5% to the Jets and Panthers, and 5% to the Vikings' interior offensive line.
The Rock knows how you feel about
It's
pie.
like when Favre in 09 wore a Twins hat all the time.
Yeah.
He's just all in on Minnesota, all in on the Twins.
I feel like it's more genuine with Sam, though. I feel like there's not like an agenda or anything.
With Brett, it was never genuine. Was not the problem with Brett. It was never that.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll do some nitpicks here to close the show, to keep it balanced, of course. When the Vikings win, we do nitpicks. When they lose, we do silver linings. But a silver lining for the audience is if you're looking to get into great shape and lose some weight, Livia is here to help guide you into 2025.
Oh, so true. In fact, you know what? We just did a 7-slice pie chart, and I'm sure that for Christmas, a lot of you had a lot of pie, and that's awesome. But now it's nearing Jan 1, and you're saying, how can I lose weight, Sports Dad? What can I do? Because I know that you have done this yourself, and I'm going to tell you right now, my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers, they do weight loss differently because they know everyone's needs are unique. They have GLP-1 meds for qualifying patients as well. They call this a you-centric approach. You-centric meaning this is about you. This is not about this. They take the personnel packages and they make adjustments here. I went back, dropped weight a couple of years ago, went back for a tune-up, 15 pounds off just like that. Join today and get 25% off their program. 9 centers in the Twin Cities. If you're not here, that's fine because the whole thing can be done virtually as well. Check them out. Livea, Livia.com to schedule your free consultation or give them a call. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia Weight Control Centers. I'm going to tell you right now, it works because it's all about you.
Also, we have a new partner on Purple Daily here. Two Men in a Truck. I've used Two Men in a Truck for two different moves. Best moving company I have personally ever used. Dex, tell them.
Yeah, I mean, moving is already stressful as it is. You either gotta figure out how to get a truck, then you gotta maybe get your family members or friends involved. It just becomes an entire process. So whether you're thinking about that move or the holidays just happened, right? And there's literally junk all around your house. You gotta clean that up. You gotta clear it out. Well, our friends at Two Men and a Junk Truck can also help out with that. They're your ultimate solution for all your junk removal needs. They have comprehensive services to cater to a wide range of clients, including renters, commercial businesses. They do a lot of great stuff all over the place. You can go get a free, no obligation, same-day quote by going to twomenandatruck.com. That's twomenandatruck.com. Shout out to them for jumping on board here with us on Purple Daily.
All right, boys. We'll start with Pat Riley. Judd, give us your nitpick here.
There's not a lot here. There was some clock stuff, but I'm going to go with a guy that I have been a proponent of all season long. Dex doesn't trust him, and he almost had a very costly mistake. The Brandon Powell muffed punt in the second quarter at the Vikings 16. The Vikings were up by 7. The Vikings got to stop, so the Packers have to punt, and then it gets muffed. Powell then tried to pick it up. Like, dude, fall on the ball at that point. He's done a good job because he's Bobby Wade. Like, he is the same guy. For the most part, fair catches it or just secures it, doesn't do a lot. I have no problem, no qualms with that. But the muff, man, that's a big game to potentially lose a football on a punt. Don't do that next time, Brandon Powell.
Dex, nitpick.
I mean, let's rip off a Will Reichert Band-Aid. 2 missed field goals in this game. Now the first one, like the 57-yarder, I'd actually nitpick Kevin O'Connell needs to go for that in that situation. And yes, the Vikings only end up winning this game by 2 points. But the 47-yarder, I believe that he missed, the inside, I think it was maybe even inside of that. You need to hit that 43-yard field goal. That puts the Vikings up 30-10. Basically, right, with 7 minutes to go, and you got to hit those ones, man. And Reichert hit all his extra points. That's awesome, but you have to hit those. Basically, what I envision are chip shots from inside 45 yards. You got to hit those ones. I didn't love the body. I think he might still be a little banged up, but his body language yesterday. I know it's kickers, and I'm not expecting them to be as stoic as Joe Burrow or Tom Brady, but he just looked like down the dumps Eeyore all game. So Reichert, I think, is our easiest one to pick here.
Now, Seifert had a great, from ESPN, Kevin Seifert, that his misses have, he's missed 5 kicks, 3 of them off the upright and 1 of them off the crossbar. Does that make you feel any better that he doesn't have the shanks or anything? He's dialed in. Even his misses are just inches away from going through.
So he was 14 of 16 before he went on IR with a quad problem in his kicking leg. He's 6 of 9 on field goals since. Here's my concern, okay? He was drafted with the ability to hit from 50 plus. Yesterday, if you go through it, from 57, which by the way, healthy he makes easily, he hits the crossbar. That's a problem. It fell short. For him, that's exactly what wasn't going to happen. There, but for the grace of God, with the Packers jumping offside, he missed a 55-yarder. Now, it got shortened to a 50. He makes that. But the point is, this is sort of like the cheat code of Will the Thrill, Big Leg Bill, is that he can make kicks up to and perhaps beyond 60 yards. So, no, I am not. In 2024, given what the expectation is, it does not make me feel good that they're coming close because the long ones should be going through. That's the whole point. Like O'Connell, we can debate O'Connell going for it or not, but part of the thought process in drafting him was, hey, this guy can make it from 57.
Yeah.
So no, I am genuinely concerned about this.
Yeah, it's
I think
concerning.
It's still hurt, you guys.
It's a combination of he doesn't look 100% and our PTSD watching the Vikings miss key kicks in the playoffs. It's going to be a thing no matter what now going forward. I would say my remaining nitpick is it worked out yesterday, but the Vikings' inability to close games running the football, when the other team knows that you have to run, the really good running teams, the Eagles, the Ravens, it helps to have a mobile quarterback too as an option. But they can still run the ball for 5 yards. It feels like when the Vikings get into these like 4 minutes and under situations and the opposing team knows they're probably going to rifle off a run on first down, second down, they lose yards a lot. They're unable to get it blocked. And it's just because the other team is loading up the box doesn't mean it has to be a 2-yard loss. Other teams show that. So, and part of it maybe Aaron Jones being out down the stretch. He's your best chance to fall forward for 4 yards. But when you have to pass the ball and you risk incompletions and the clock stopping and there's so many factors, interceptions.
Now, I agree completely with what you just said, but I will say this about the end. They did use the pass as the run. Yeah. Because it's not like he didn't hunt deep, it's like, let's go for broke again. So they basically did, with Jones out, they decided we're going to pass the ball, but it's going to go to a guy like C.J. Ham.
Yep.
Which is a check down. So I do wonder on the Jones thing, though. And we are getting the complete Jones experience, because the Aaron Jones experience is this, right? Great guy, great locker room guy, multifaceted, talented, but he's going to come up, with a quad problem or a hamstring a few times. So yeah, we're seeing why the Packers decided we're good and going to go with Josh Jacobs. But in a playoff game, I'm sort of with you, Phil, because like if that throw by Darnold's not great, Akers doesn't catch that ball, you got problems. Like that's how you lose a playoff game. So
yep. All right. Wow. 3,500 people hanging out with us here at the end of this live episode here. Hottest Vikings takes, your pie chart. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the like button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, and we'll hit you guys. So you'll see Before I Die on the feeds later today, a state of the offense and a stud stable likely for tomorrow, and the Vikings gearing up for a huge game, Week 18, Sunday Night Football against the Lions. We got you covered all week long here on Purple Daily for what people are calling Judd Flow God with his hair slicked back today in the comment section.
I saw one that said I'm mean. I think I've been very positive today.
That you're mean? I don't think you.
Yeah, I saw one that said Judd is so mean sometimes. I think I've been very positive today.
I mean, you bring the heat when it's necessary. I don't think you've been mean today. I wouldn't take that comment to heart. I wouldn't absorb
I was very
that
hurt.
comment.
I was very hurt by that. It's Christmas time. It's a
for
2-week period I love.
Well, you
look
like Michael Douglas in Greed. Maybe people are like, it's your image. It's
like
stoic,
I like the
Pat Riley.
Wall Street type of thing. I love it.
Yeah. For Dex, I am Phil. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.